cults, at least the ones who abused and tortured me, are very intentional at trying to keep survivors, victims, from speaking out, reaching out to authorities who might help them, especially doctors and police officers. Very intentional. So for some of the abuse and the torture, they will have their cult members dress up as police officers and as doctors and nurses. And so then the child or the teen is associating the torture and the mind control with police and doctors. And so we become afraid of them and afraid to reach out. And that is a huge part of my experience. But there are also, or at least in the cults that abused me, there were a few members who were police officers. So I have like this double fear. And then for the child prostitution, there were some police officers who rented me and other kids. But the abusers dressing up as police officers and doctors and nurses, then torturing me and other kids and using mind control, that was quite enough to make me afraid of them and afraid to reach out and afraid to talk to them. I did actually have a really good woman detective who worked with me when I first disclosed. I could only disclose child sexual abuse. I couldn't disclose it about my parents because I was living with them and they told me they would kill me if I talked, but I could disclose about a great uncle that I wasn't living with. And I was able to talk with her slowly over the years. In the beginning, I couldn't even talk. I couldn't even speak. I could just shiver and shudder and nod or shake my head, and sometimes not even that. And it took a long time, and I had so much safety with her because she was really open and honest about her own experiences too of being a survivor. But my memories were also so repressed in order to survive with the dissociation and the DID that it took me a long time to remember and be able to talk about more details, a really long time. And by the time I remembered the cult abuse by my parents, I ran away instead of taking it to her. And by then I think she had stopped seeing me anyway, because that was a number of years. Like I think I disclosed around 13 and then I ran away, I think around 17. So she had stopped being there at the time. But that is so intentional by cults to try and keep us from talking. It's another level for them of keeping silence and safety for them and secrecy by having cult abusers dress up as doctors, nurses, police officers. So if you know a cult survivor who is afraid of them, there is a good reason. Like it is part of their abuse memories and their trauma memories. It just does help to look through the masks, to see through, oh, I recognize these abusers. That was not their job in everyday time. They were just wearing those costumes to keep us from talking. But then there also may actually have been some actual police officers and doctors, and that makes it harder.